Hello, my name is Leanna Wagner, and I chose to interview Michael Burnett, and he is a K-9 police officer for the Kingsport Police Department. I don't personally know him. My sister is a music instructor, and his daughter takes lessons from her, so that's how I formed the connection. I basically wanted to revolve the interview around the police department's involvement in the homeless population and the issues that surround it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the questions. The first question I asked him was, how often do you interact with the homeless population? He said that he interacts with them every single day. He encounters them on a daily basis, whether that's him getting a call about a complaint or just passing through town and seeing some of the same people in the same places. And when he does see those same people hanging out, he does approach them. And he said that he'll make sure that they're doing okay, but tell them that they need to go on somewhere else if it's in a public place, if they're loitering and that sort of thing. Then I went on to ask him, what is the Kingsport Police Department doing to address the issue of homelessness? And he said nothing. He said, he basically read off sort of what a police officer does, and he said the police department enforces the law and keeps the peace. We don't form any programs. That was his reply to that question. And he did say, though, that sometimes if it's like the middle of the winter and the person obviously needs some shelter and some warm clothes and maybe some medical attention, then they will go ahead and arrest them so that they can have a place to stay and get that attention that they need. The next question I asked him what could change the negative stigma that revolves around homelessness and that population. And his response to that was that it's negative because it's negative. That these people are drug addicted, alcoholic, or mentally ill people, and he doesn't know how to change that. I was really kind of disturbed by that answer, honestly, because as we've been talking about in class, that's obviously not what the whole population consists of. You know, they're not all drug addicted, alcoholic people. So I was really kind of disturbed to hear him respond with that answer. So then I went on to ask what's happening in Kingsport just to assist people who are homeless. And he said, I do not know. But then right after he said he didn't know, he mentioned a couple of places like the Salvation Army and Haven of Hope. And he did mention that there's a few churches that do IHN, Interfaith Hospitality Network. But he said aside from that, he didn't know. And my reaction to that, in my head, not personally to him, was, well, you're a police officer. I feel like if someone approached you needing help, you would be the one person who could give them that help. So for him to respond, I don't know, was kind of surprising to me. The next question I asked him was, did he think that there was a correlation between poverty and crime, and why he thought that. And he said that although he thinks that that's part of the reason why, that there is a correlation between the two because of that reason, but more so it's also a larger problem with the family breakdown, the family unit breakdown, such as rising divorce rates in single parent homes, kids being raised by the television and video games, that sort of thing. Let's see. Then I asked him how he thought that the continuing increase of poverty will affect our country. And he said that we are already in his opinion, he believes that we're already in a downfall right now, and that all of this funding that's happening for these programs that are helping out the low-income families and the homeless and the hungry, that all that money is coming from the working population out of their taxes. And so he thinks that the working population will soon be the minority, and that there will no longer be the funding available because we will be the working people will be the minority. Then I asked, well, okay, what can we do right now? What can citizens do? And his response was to get involved, get educated, and give your time and your resources. So I kind of found that a little bit upsetting, just because he himself doesn't seem to be taking the time to get to know the different programs that are around the area, and he doesn't, I don't know, he didn't, whenever I asked him the question about places where he could refer people to, he said he didn't know. So I feel like giving that advice of going out there, get educated, know about these things, was kind of contradictory to his knowledge on these places. So I kind of found that a little bit interesting. And then the next couple of questions I asked, because I thought that there might be some sort of service learning that police officers would need to do in order to get certified, or just some community outreach or something before becoming a police officer. So I asked him if there were any requirements like that, and he said specifically relating to the topics that we were discussing, no. He said there was no type of thing where you're getting out in the community and helping these people out. So I found that a little shocking. So then I went on to ask, okay, well, is there any professional development, training or courses that is offered for, keeping updated in the homeless population or the rise of poverty and that sort of thing? And he says specifically no. They do have like a annual training. There is a training called, I think he said, critical incident training, where they teach you how to deal with the mentally ill, and he included homeless in there. But that training is that's not offered yearly. So he said it could be offered, every 3 years or something like that. So I found that interesting, that they don't have any sort of professional development to keep updated with what the statistics are in the area and what they can do about it. I thought for sure there'd be something like that. So as Dr. Duncan asks us at the end of every module, I asked him, do you think there is a universal cure to homelessness, hunger, and poverty? And his answer was no. There is no, he said, there is no cure for mental disorders. And what was it that he said? he said there is no cure because when you are drug addicted or alcohol dependent, that's all that matters. And so when that's all that matters, then nothing else does. So that was his conclusion as to why he thought there would be no cure. And yet again, he kind of put all people into the category of being drug addicted, alcoholic, or mentally ill, and that's just not true. So those were the questions that I had for him, and overall, I was pretty disappointed with the responses that I heard back. I feel like a police officer would have better answers for me, and overall, I felt like I was getting answers from a kid, honestly. Maybe he needs to take this course. Anyways, thanks for listening.